Hey, it's Joe Gleason, the-automator, and I've got an exciting video for you today. I finally got access to Manus the other day, and we demoed it during the hero call, but I wanted to just do a separate video here. And so Manus, if you're not aware of it, actually let me start my webcam reminder so I don't accidentally forget that you can't see part of the screen. Put that up over here. There we go. Manus, it's basically a virtual assistant. I'm going to give it a task here and I'll explain because it's going to have to work for a while. And someone I know just needs to get insurance, so I thought, why don't I use this as give it a task of getting insurance. So I live in insurance at the lowest possible price. My friend doesn't have a lot of money. Please find companies that have the best, lowest price options. Now I'm going to hit send. Now I have 502 credits left, and this came free. I had, I think, 3,000, so hopefully we'll have enough to do this. I'm going to send it off. Now, Manus, if you haven't seen the videos, it's pretty cool, right? It'll go off, you give it a task, and it'll go work, and you come back later. It's not like an instant thing, but it's going to figure out like what you want done. It might even ask me here, like, hey, here's what I think you want me to do. Are you sure this is what you want me to do? So we'll just watch it here. And what's cool about this is it's all autonomous, right? I've been using MCP. I was talking to a friend of mine, Ryan Wells, about using MCP and some other tools, and they work, but I had to keep checking yes, like approved or go ahead. And this is doing it like all on its own, which is really, really cool. And so it's going to go out and try to do this comparison and find some pricing for me or whatever task you give it, right? Their pricing is not great to me. It's not cheap. It's not a cheap option. Why don't we go ahead and I'll start a second window. This should work on its own. I'll go Manus IM and then come in here and credits. Let's see. Upgrade. So yeah, let me grab this and I'll go back in case this is still, yeah, it's still working. So for $39 a month, you get 3,900 credits, which, each task depends what you're doing. I've had different tasks and some of them took 150 credits and some of them took 350 credits. So one task of 350 credits, let's just say that was like almost 10% of your monthly thing. So, it's going to add up. That's the starter, or you do $200 a month, but that, and you get 19,000 or almost 20,000 credits. Obviously, this would be filling in for like a person to do certain things for you. So let's move this out of the way. You can go look that up and check out the pricing. Now, behind the scenes, from what I've read, Manus is just using a bunch of different MCP models, like from Claude, and probably some other special sauce, like they're not telling you. But when you use tokens from Claude, it's really inexpensive, right? So they're charging a premium, which more to them because it works, right? And I've used it several times where I was very impressed with the results I got. I'm not sure what this radio checkbox was here. Oh, it just wasn't checked, and maybe I had to activate the screen. But it's going through. It's updating the different things, looking around. When I did this before, I did it with looking at Greenville, restaurants in Greenville, which is a city nearby that has more than the restaurants we have in our town. And it did a really good summary of Mexican restaurants and compared pricing and told me what their best meals, best known for, gave certain days they have certain discounts on things. Really cool tool. The information gave it back to me in a nice structured report. Maybe I'll go click on that after this thing is done running, and I might pause the recording, or we'll see. I'll let it run because I think it's important to see kind of that process. But of course, I wouldn't sit here and watch this. I would go do some other work and come back when it's done. And you can, by the way, sorry, I should have expanded. You can expand this and see what the browser is doing. Let me turn off my webcam. Move this out of the way. I'll turn off my. I know you're going to miss me. Hey, but there we go. Oh, I've been blocked. That's interesting. So that browser is being blocked because it's a robotic process, and some websites will block it, unfortunately. And over time, they'll figure out ways to work around that, where it'll be really, really hard for a website to know how to block it. But it's looking at different things. I hope it doesn't run out of tokens. I really don't feel like signing up for. I mean, it's a good tool. I don't need another bill each month because I'm already signed up for both Claude and OpenAI at their $20 a month each. And $40 still isn't terrible, but I of course have a lot of other things that are, actually my car insurance, I was telling these guys, it's like $400 a month because we have 4 vehicles and 2 drivers, and that's with minimum coverage. The insurance rates have really gotten kind of crazy lately. So it looks like it's still plugging along, doing a pretty good job, from what I can tell, a pretty good idea of doing a good comparison. I have the feeling I'm going to run out of credits. Let's see if I can go look at this. Knowledge, no. Well, that says 381, but I have a feeling that's what it was when we started this. And maybe it'll finish this one without stopping me and saying you're out of credits. But yeah, and I could have just Google searched for what's the cheapest car insurance, right? But this does a more robust thing, like a real person is doing some research. Again, I'm very impressed with its ability to do research and think through things. And also, like I said, sometimes it will say, here's what I think you're looking for. Can you confirm that before we go do the stuff? Which is also great. And it's just the direction of where we're going with AI. It's really fascinating. So it's I don't remember if it's having to use OCR on the web page or it's their own browser, so they might be able to, with the DOM, read what's on that page very efficiently instead of using OCR on everything. Yeah, actually, something that shouldn't interfere with it. Here was the best match 6 days ago. I don't know if it tells us the token usage on each one. The first one, my friend Ryan, the guy I was talking to, he was booking tennis courts in somewhere in the UK, and so I did that one. I did a couple of things, and I've eaten up I think I had 2,000 credits, if I remember correctly. Now, I did, when Manus first came out, like that day when it really kind of hit the internet and there were videos on it, I signed up to get access. And it took me, what was that, a couple months ago before I finally got access. So even if you sign up now, it may be a while before you can get access. And that's even if you want a paid account. That's just to be able to have access, I think. I don't think I could have straight off the cuff just paid the $39 a month and had the account, but I gotta assume they would prioritize that. So it's comparing some coverage options and discounts, it says. And of course, I would do more research. I wouldn't trust this to be the end-all be-all answer. But I think let me go ahead and add my webcam back. I don't think we're missing anything much there. I can make me a little smaller, maybe. But yeah, it's very, very cool where AI is going. It's hard to believe how only a couple years ago we had nothing, and now we're getting to true autonomy processes doing research for you. I watched a video from OpenAI that was released an hour ago, and so my background is in data science, and the guy had a paper he wrote years ago, and he asked AI to go make some more evaluations and compare it to recent trends. And then he realized when he was asking it that he actually didn't answer the question that he asked. And so OpenAI, I think it was the O3 model, it might have been the 4 mini, I forget which one it was. That's what the 2 videos were on. And it alerted to him that he hadn't actually solved it in his paper. It solved it for him. Then it went out and found other papers that were like it. And said, well, your results were similar, but theirs are better because he's like, yeah, they're also using cutting edge, tools and stuff. So, again, really, really cool. I know Google's deep research I've used it plenty of times. It's very, very good. Perplexity also is a really, really great tool for doing research. If I'm looking for something online, if I didn't have Manus, Perplexity is where I would go, because Perplexity does a really good job, I think, of searching the internet. OpenAI and Claude both can do that now, but now Manus, because it kind of follows up on things and kind of dives deeper and builds your report, which is what deep research also is doing. The deep research, it just depends, I would still say you got to flesh it out in different questions. Certain ones might answer better than others. But deep research is free from Google. The OpenAI and Claude both are sort of free, depending on what you do. And what is it? DeepSeek has a research functionality as well, and that one's free on the browser. It's still plugging along here. I know, yeah, it's just really amazing. We're at 4 of 6. I'm looking down here in the bottom right. So we're still plugging along. Sometimes it seems like it just sits there for a bit. This is also why I'd say, you find something else to do and you come back when it's done. And which is, again, like real world, what you do with the virtual assistant, right? You don't sit over there and watch them every second. If you do, you're wasting your time, right? You want to hand things off to other people, let them work on it, give them direction. And the more examples, like I could have said here, the more I find, what I probably should have done was gone to Claude and said, here's what I'm trying to do. Let Claude flesh out a bit more to get it exactly dialed in on what I'm looking for, and then give it to Manus and say, okay, now here's your task. Because just like with the virtual assistant, the more instructions and examples you can give them, the better the results you will get out of AI. And don't forget that a short question requires a long answer, and it takes you more time. But a long question requires a much shorter answer, because the thing, whatever it is doing it now, knows what to look for and knows exactly what you want. So it's better to spend more time up front being very clear on what you're looking for and any sort of context you can give it to help it fine-tune to get you, exactly what you want. And my son is now 18. He's still not driving. I'm trying to get him to get his driver's license, but so I would probably be using this because our insurance has gone crazy here lately with I don't know if it's, it seemed during COVID that suddenly the prices went up an astronomical amount. And I just haven't had time to do any price shopping, but it's at a point where, like, this is why I'm like, yeah, I think I'll use this myself. At least get a couple quotes to shop around. I've been with my company for over 20 years. It's Amica, and they're great at paying out. I've been very pleased with them. They've never shortchanged me, but still $400 a month. Like, our cars are not that valuable, and we don't even insure them. We just have the lowest coverage in case we hurt someone else, because our cars aren't worth that much, and I don't really care if we lose a car. Six of 6. All right, looks like we're getting to the last bit. Watch it cut out right at the end. Yeah, we did this work, but we're not going to tell you the answer unless you pay us. Presenting findings to user. Now, also, it's going to give me, I think, I'm going to anticipate phone numbers and links and things to go directly. So, again, it kind of lines up, and I didn't have to do all this research to figure out the different phone numbers and places where I can look into it. What? 6 of 7? I thought we were at 6 of 6. Is it assigning more things to do? Now ready to address any follow-up questions from the user. Manus completed the current task. Am I missing something? Oh, I see. Apparently... I think it was still working. To get absolute lowest rates, I recommend contact Texas Farm Bureau for a first quote first. Compare with State Farm and call Geico, which I've never thought they spend so much on advertising, I can't imagine they actually would have a low rate. Was that it? Based on my research, Texas Farm Bureau. That would be crazy if that was actually the price. So I just realized I didn't see it anywhere, and maybe I'm missing it. But I didn't see any phone numbers. There we go. I asked it for some phone numbers, and so here are phone numbers. So now we have information to call. There we go. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that. Like the video if you thought this turned out well, or you're very interested in it. What do you think? Would you pay $39 a month to have access to be able to ask it, basically, have a virtual assistant to be able to solve problems for you and look things up? And actually, soon it'll be able to book things on your calendar. And I saw one with Google where Google is actually, like, you could tell it to schedule a dentist appointment for me tomorrow at 3 p.m. and it would call, and you have a virtual assistant with the audio speaking, call the computer, calls the dentist's office and talks to them, and the person answering the call doesn't know they're talking to a computer, and they schedule an appointment for them. So this stuff is coming, and it's pretty wild. So again, please like the video if you learned something and like this, and let me know what you think. Cheers.